Like any other car, a minivan has many disadvantages. Moreover, some of them are subjective and rare, while others are very significant and can influence the choice of this model, especially on the secondary market. After all, many disadvantages increase significantly with the mileage and age of the car. Such problems usually include the high cost of many spare parts. A considerable part of car parts are quite expensive. Some experts and car owners believe that such spare parts are more expensive than even premium German models. At the same time, it is not always possible to choose a high-quality and cheaper analog, especially in the current conditions. Low quality even of original parts. Often, even original components purchased from trusted sources may not last long and quickly fail. And buying dubious analogs is a lottery. Therefore, such savings often turn out to be meaningless. Lack of competent model repair technicians in many regions and cities of the country. The car has a number of design features, due to which high-quality repairs and diagnostics are possible only with the presence of specialists who are well acquainted with the features of the minivan. Many faults are almost impossible to fix with your own hands. But professional services specializing in repairing such cars are not available everywhere. However, many of them are relatively expensive. Manual transmission. The weak point of the car is the bearings on the primary and secondary shafts of the manual transmission. Often they can break down even at a relatively low mileage. After replacing parts, they may not always last long. It is believed that often these spare parts go on sale defective. Therefore, when purchasing, you need to carefully check their condition and buy only from trusted places. And when choosing a used car, do a high-quality diagnosis of a manual transmission, if it is equipped with one. High fuel consumption, usually inherent in gasoline engines. Therefore, when purchasing this minivan, you need to be prepared for the fact that even on the highway, fuel consumption can be 15 or a little more than liters per 100 kilometers. And in the city, a car can consume even more gasoline. It is almost impossible to solve this problem. Correcting your driving style and carefully monitoring the technical condition of the car, and timely elimination of even minor faults will help reduce fuel consumption. But for those who need a truly economical car, it is better to take a closer look at other models in this class. The severity of acceleration. The car accelerates quite poorly on the highway and is therefore not very suitable for drivers who prefer a dynamic driving style. It is impossible to eliminate this shortcoming. Lack of all-wheel drive. Despite the fairly high ground clearance, the minivan does not have excellent cross-country ability on bad roads and off-road due to the lack of all-wheel drive. Therefore, summer residents and those who prefer off-road driving are better off taking a closer look at another car. Body corrosion. Typical mainly for old cars with high mileage. But sometimes rust spots are found on relatively fresh specimens. It is not worth buying a car with corrosion on the secondary market. The exception is a minor, just beginning problem that can be eliminated with high-quality body repairs. In order to avoid corrosion for as long as possible, the owners of this model are advised to promptly repair even minor damage to the body and carry out high-quality anti-corrosion treatment. But this may not save a very old car. Injectors and other fuel system components. This is a very common breakdown of cars of this model. The car is very demanding on fuel quality. Unreliability of diesel engines and lack of competent specialists to repair them. Diesel engines are especially demanding on fuel and are considered not very well adapted to Russian conditions. Therefore, you can only buy such a car if there are good service and repair technicians nearby. Frequent minor malfunctions. A minivan is often subject to frequent minor breakdowns. This feature is usually noticeable in older specimens with considerable mileage. Therefore, it is not recommended to take a car that is too old. While many of these problems are often easy to fix, parts and repairs can be expensive. High cost of compulsory motor liability insurance and taxes. When buying this car, you need to be prepared for the considerable cost of the MTPL policy and quite high taxes. Failure of electrical equipment. Typical for cars with high mileage and age. Therefore, purchasing a car that is too old can result in unexpected and quite expensive problems. In winter, the cabin can be cold. Often the problem can be solved by a relatively simple modification of the heater, which can be done independently or at a car service center. In general, the Kia Carnival is a good minivan in terms of price and quality ratio. Therefore, it is quite popular among Russian drivers. If it is now almost impossible to buy a new car in Russia, then on the secondary market you can find many suitable options. But choosing a used car will most likely take quite a long time. Experts and experienced car owners recommend buying a model no older than 10 years old and with low mileage. When purchasing, you should carefully check the weaknesses mentioned above, as well as the presence of major road accidents in the history. Finding a model in perfect condition on the secondary market is almost impossible. Therefore, you should be lenient towards minor shortcomings. But it is advisable to choose this car with a professional selector or an experienced friend, since among used cars there are many examples in very poor condition. To bring them back to normal will require significant investment.